Okay, we're live. Somebody let me know I got good audio. We're 8 minutes away from the beginning of the net. Got extra water. Um, just getting the net information set up on the computers, and anybody on? I don't see anybody on. Let's see if I can put a monitor here. Oops. Let's go here. Looks like it's on. There's definitely a lag. Hey, Nick. Good evening to you. This is distracting watching my my monitor of the YouTube. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, about 3 seconds or so. All right, but it's no audio, and the whole idea for me is just to see the chat. That's the only reason I have that up and running. Well, Nick, we'll see how this goes tonight. My whole reason for doing it, I already did the other video for the mechanics of setting up for the net. This one is really just back and forth with the chat for folks who may not be on the radio, but would like to chat with a question or a comment or a topic question, whatever the case, whatever the case may be. 9:55. I'm going to transmit via Echolink a beacon, text to speech of the meeting, the net. Nick, let me know if you could hear the radio. QCECG, the weekly Queen Creek Emergency Communications Group radio net begins Sunday at 2000 hours or 8 o'clock. Late check-ins and visitors will be acknowledged after the district check-in. We invite all amateur radio operators. When I tried this, thank you. When I tried this earlier, the chat was real slow. Well, when I was doing it anyway. Here, I'm going to respond. Sending chat now. Well, not really. Sending now. We'll see. Yeah, I agree. There's definitely a delay. I sent it and it's not showing up. There it is. Now it's showing up. Oh, yeah. That was a bit of a delay. I wonder if it's inherent or if it's planned by YouTube to have a delay so chat messages don't pile up, but sequence in some fashion. I don't know. That might be asking for too much. Let's see who else is on. Oh, 7 seconds. Yow. Okay, that's crazy. But the audio is good, so that's fine. I'm using Bluetooth in my other ear, not this one, and the microphone here. I found out that using this setup rather than the speaker or the mic inside the laptop or a smart device is so much better. I hate low volume, low audio on video. Biggest thing that kills video, terrible audio. All righty, we got about 3 minutes to go. Fill this out. We got announcements, short time, district, visitors. Visitors are always big. Not last week, but usually. What else we got on? We got, so far it's just me and you, Nick. Well, there could be other people watching, they're just not chatting. I don't think I have a way of knowing that. 3 watch, okay. It says 3 watching, that's me, you, and a third person. Thank you. The audio sounds good. So there is a third person watching. It could be Bob, K7RWR. He was on before. Could be a friend of mine in New Jersey who's supposed to pop on tonight too, Paul and 2SDB. We're 2 minutes away. Normally I'll wear an earphone for the radio just to so nobody in the house has to hear both sides. Oh, I could still do that because I don't need to hear. I only need the microphone. Only need the microphone. But then anybody watching over YouTube won't be able to hear it. But if you're going to be on the radio and YouTube, it's going to conflict. Well, okay, 20 or 30 seconds, Nick says, your chat to me, while mine are 7 seconds. Wow, that's crazy. Huh. And let's see, in our video is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 second delay, maybe 7. Okay, I'm going to send now. I'm going to hit the send button right now and see if it comes up. Hey, Wesley. See you on there. Thank you very much, Wesley. Wesley and Florence is. So Wesley, we got about from me, a 5 second delay on my video stream. No big deal. The sync is okay, right? So at least it's syncing. And the chat is a little bit slow, 8 seconds. Okay, that's probably very similar to the video delay. So my chat messages is about 8 seconds. Okay, well, I'm open to you guys sending chat. Okay, from the audio to, very good. Oh, there's the 8 o'clock announcement. Somebody's transmitting. And whoever was transmitting was listening to me because I heard my voice in the background. Okay. Calling all amateur radio operators. The Queen Creek Emergency Communications Training Net is now being activated for our weekly session. The purpose of this net is to familiarize local hams with net operations, which will be helpful in times of emergencies, and promote ham radio in this area. This is an open net. All licensed stations are welcome to join this training session. This is November 2, Quebec, Oscar, Juliet. My name is Joe, and I am your net control station. In case I'm unable to communicate, is there a station that can serve as alternate control? Please call now. Thank you, Janet. You are checked in as net alternate control. Be sure to record all traffic and check-ins during the net. And as I mentioned before, you are checked in. Also, I want to mention to everybody that I did announce that this is being my end of this net tonight is being streamed live with chat capability on the Queen Creek Amateur Radio Club's YouTube channel. That information, that link went out a little earlier. All stations, please take note. In the unlikely of failure, the net will continue in simplex mode on the Ocotillo repeater output frequency of 449.325 megahertz. Stations with external antennas may be asked to relay communications to net control. Are there any stations with emergency or priority traffic? Please call now.
Silence mode enabled.
All right, that announcement you heard about silence mode being enabled, that comes on at about 2 minutes after 2000 hours, 8 o'clock every evening to indicate that there will be no more automatic announcements on this repeater. We just happened to time it right. This is a directed net, so follow my instructions. If you have any special announcements for the net, please be ready to check in because we will handle announcements before we check in our district members and visitors. We will handle routine traffic and discussion topics following all check-ins. Please remember to conclude all traffic with your FCC station call sign. At this time, we'd like to call for any station that has a special announcement for the net. Please check in now 3 stations at a time. Announce your call sign phonetically, your first name. Please call now. Hi, Paul. I see you. Hey, Fred. Got you too. Alrighty. Let's see. Any station calling via Echolink? We have one Echolink station connected, KJ7. I'm sorry, K7JKA. Andy. Andy will not be on the net by voice, but he will be on Echolink monitoring. Good evening, Andy. At this time, I would like to take check-ins from stations that are short on time. Please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your first name. Please add your district report if you have one. I'll take 3 stations at a time. If 2 or more stations double, I will ask the stations to repeat their check-in. Please call now. Usually have 2 or 3 or 4 short timers.
Kilo Golf 7, Victor Foxtrot. This is Court, District 2 Alpha, 1 check-in, no traffic, KG7DF.
That's our co-leader, Court. We have 3 co-leaders. K7RW.
2, Mike, X-ray, Larry, 4A, no traffic, short time, WB to Max X.
Two short timers. Our regular short timer, Steve, is not checking in at 4 Alpha. Okay, let's hold it right there and let's acknowledge our short time stations so far. We have KG7 Victor Foxtrot 2A. That is in 2A. Checking in 1 with no traffic. Thank you, Court, for joining us. Appreciate it. WB2MXX. Larry, thank you very much for checking in. Appreciate that as well. Do we have any other short time stations? Please call now with your call sign phonetically, your first name. Hello, Mike.
Kilo 7 Romeo Whiskey Romeo. Bob, short time, no traffic, no questions.
Very good, Bob. Thank you so much. K7RWR. Bob helped me earlier making sure that my audio was working on one of my test streams. Appreciate you checking in with us, Bob. Last call for short timers. Please call now with your call sign phonetically, your first name, and district report if you have one. I think that's the end of our short timers. We have the 5-second hang time tonight on the repeater. I turned that back on. When we have really no one on Echolink, it's a bit better. I think it runs a little bit better than that. Very good. That concludes our short time check-ins. We thank you all for checking in. One thing we didn't do is I didn't make an announcement, and very simply, only one announcement for this evening. Radio Under Sunshade. Our next event is May 10th. That will be the last one for the season. Again, if anyone needs information regarding Radios Under Sunshade, please venture over to queencreekarc.org. And in the top right of the banner on the home page, you'll find a couple links you can click on to understand what Radio Under Sunshade is all about. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and working off grid in a public area typically to demonstrate, exercise your skills and also demonstrate to the public, if any. At the present time, I would like to call any check-ins of our QCECG members that may be participating this evening. We have 5 regions and Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta districts within each region. So if you are a QCECG member in any region 1 through 5 and A to D, please call in now.
Kilo 7 Bravo Whiskey Delta Clint 2 Alpha.
Two so far. See if there's a third. We'll give it a couple of seconds. Alrighty, hold it right there. We have two check-ins, KG7 BWD Clinton 2 Alpha. Thank you for joining us, Clint. And KJ7 UTZ Vince in 2 Bravo. Thank you very much, Vince. Do we have any other QCECG members who would like to check in to the weekly training net for Queen Creek Emergency Communications Group? That's a mouthful. What do we got here? Hey, Brian. Oh my gosh, we got Bob again, Mike Fernandez, Brian. Hi, Brian. N6BG. There you go, Brian. I did it from memory, but it's not a hard one. Alrighty, it looks like we've got all of our district members checked in. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to visitor check-ins. This is your opportunity if you're a visitor and listening in and would like to participate and log in. This is your chance to do that. All I ask is that you address the net control with your call sign phonetically, your first name, and your location. I'll take 3 stations at a time. Please call now. I'm forgetting my own script.
November Whiskey Alpha, Phoenix, CBMO area. Kilo 7 November Tango Mike Nick, Queen Creek.
Hey, Mike.
Kilo 2 Juliet November Lima, Jeff.
Let's hold it right there for a second, everyone. We got Whiskey 0, NWA Jeff. And we have K7NTM Queen Creek, Mike. Sorry, Nick. And we got K2JNL Jim in Mesa. Jeff, let me just make sure. Jeff, W0NWA. I think I got everything correct there. Is that right?
That is correct. W0.
Alrighty, very good. Thank you for joining us, Jim and Nick and Jeff. Let's move on to our next set of 3 visitors. Please call your call sign phonetically, your first name and location. Go ahead now.
Whiskey 0, Whiskey Tango 1.
November 6 Bravo Golf, Lion, visitor from Chandler. Kilo India 7, Papa Whiskey, John, in Mesa.
That's our next set of 3. Thank you all. Whiskey 0, Whiskey Tango. Your transmission got chopped at the end. Please repeat.
Whiskey 0, Whiskey Tango, Warren and AJ.
Thank you, Warren. I thought that was you, but for the benefit of everyone else, I wanted to make sure if anybody's copying here and taking notes that they got you. N6BG, Brian and Chandler. Thank you, Brian, for joining us. KI7PP John in Mesa. Thank you. Do we have any additional visitors? Please call 3 at a time. Call sign phonetically, your first name and your location. Please call now.
AF7 RYX, Dennis, Mesa. Juliet 7, Delta Juliet Romeo, Lisa, Mesa.
Alrighty, stand by there. We got 3 stations, but the last 2 doubled. Lisa, go ahead with your call sign. I know that's you, but go ahead with your call sign for everyone's benefit.
Kilo Juliet 7, Delta Juliet Romeo, Lisa, and Mesa.
Thank you, Lee. Got it. There was a double with Lisa, that station, who I did not acknowledge. You are the double. Please go ahead with your call sign phonetically, your first name and location. I think that's Jose. You're gonna have to repeat your call sign. I don't remember it, and you're really scratchy and noisy tonight. Let's try it one more time. Go ahead. we're going to look at QRZ.com and make sure that's Jose. Alrighty, very good, Jose. KJ7QAQ in Chandler. Yeah, you might be moving around a little bit. Got scratchy, but you were readable that time, even though there was some noise. Thank you for joining us. Do we have any additional visitors? Please call now. Your call sign phonetically, your first name and location. Go ahead. That station, please repeat. I'm not sure if it was my end or your end. I got a key down carrier, but I didn't get audio. Try again. No audio. Okay, hold it right there. I know it's not me. Alternate control, did you receive what I received? Just carrier and no audio? Uh-oh, wake up.
That is correct, and it sounded almost like they were also doubling when you were speaking. Yes, 7 FM.
Okay, yeah, it didn't sound like a double to me, but it did sound like the audio was suppressed completely, as if the push to talk wasn't working correctly. So that last station, please check your equipment there. You want to try it one more time, fine, but I believe you might have an audio problem. Go ahead. Alrighty, check your connections. You are definitely keying the repeater, full quieting, but you have no audio, zero. I hear something as if you were speaking in about 300 feet away from me. So please check your equipment and we'll come back to you. I want to also acknowledge KF7RYX Dennis and Mesa. I don't know if I did that before. Thank you for joining us. Do we have any other visitors who would like to check in? Please call now with your call sign phonetically, your first name and your location.
Relay. 7 Tango Romeo Delta, John and Gilbert.
Relay standby. John and Gilbert, please come back with your call sign.
Kilo Juliet 7 Tango Romeo Delta.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, the relay station, you are not checked in. Go ahead with your call sign.
Kilo Golf 7 November Charlie Victor Days Mesa. The party was loud and clear on the reverse head, and I believe it was Alpha India 0 something. I got really the Alpha. I didn't go to the reverse in time, so if you want to give that a try, he was the 9 over here.
Yeah, no, I absolutely do not want to give that a try, and I'll tell you why. This is the net. We've got 10, 12, 15 people or whatever checking in. We cannot do that. The gentleman, Alpha India, whatever the case may be, you definitely have an audio problem. You are definitely coming into the repeater correctly. Your split is set correctly. You have PL set correctly, but you have an audio problem. So please take care of that. Dave, thank you very much for the relay. I appreciate that. We'll come back and see if he fixes his issue. So we've got KJ7QAQ, Jose and Chandler, KJ7TRD, John and Gilbert, and we got KG7, NCV, David and Mesa. Do any other check-ins? Please call now.
Alpha Golf 7 Whiskey Quebec, Wesley in Florence.
November 7, Mike Juliet Foxtrot. This is Mike in Queen Creek.
Alrighty, let's hold it there for a second. We've got Wesley in Florence. Wesley, I don't know what you're using there for audio, but it is powerful. It's banging. So correct me if I'm wrong here. I think it's what is it? Alpha Whiskey 7 Whiskey Quebec. I think I got that wrong. Correct it for me.
Alpha Golf 7 Whiskey Quebec. I'm using a handheld, but I'll crank the power down.
Yeah, thank you very much. That is the strongest FM voice phone that I've heard in a long, long time. very powerful. You're going to have to tell us what microphone you're using when we get around to you. Thank you. And we've got N7MJF. Mike, thank you very much for joining us. Do we have any other visitor check-ins? Please call now with your call sign phonetically, first name, and your location. Fine, you have the best delay of only 2.5 seconds. That's crazy. Everybody else is like 7, 8, or 10. All righty, very good. I think that concludes our check-ins of visitors for the time being. And let's see, I don't have a specific theme or topic for this evening, but I do want to slant any discussion that we have towards the technical area. In emergency communications, and since this being a training net, what we've just gone through is a directed net where all communication comes to net control. All communication either originates from net control or alternate control. Relays are appreciated when necessary for a situation like this. If we have equipment failure, in a situation we have a participant who has some equipment issue, and hopefully that gets straightened out so we can log him in. We only have a partial. So if anyone has a question about directed net or types of nets that are available on amateur radio or the kinds that normally we see around the valley, please bring that up. I'm going to go to alternate control KF7SLQ Janet. Thank you, Janet, for taking these duties on. And I know you've been working on go boxes and other things in the recent past here. And I was wondering if you had any technical issues that you wanted to bring to the group or something that you may have seen in the news over the last couple of weeks. Please go ahead. Kind of general tonight. Don't have a specific topic.
For running the net, and it's my pleasure to be your alternate net control. I actually have not been doing much after 2 weeks with ham radio. I actually am in a boot for tendonitis, so I'm not moving around too much. So other than that, glad to hear everybody on the net speak, and I will end with a 7-3 and 7SLQ.
Well, thank you, Janet, for taking on alternate control, and hopefully the reason you have that on will fix itself soon, and hopefully you're not in pain. There is a technical issue. I would like to just have a question. We've got a lot of folks out here on the net tonight, and of all walks of life probably, and just about everyone has been touched with some kind of remote presentation or webinar, whatever the case may be, in the last 8, 9, 10 months. I've used Facebook Live, and I'm using tonight YouTube Live with chat capability. Please tell me, you folks out there who may have experiences, whether it's with church or with work or your friends, the kind of what you find to be most useful and easy to use for remote operations, in addition to whatever you may have on the technical side of amateur radio. So let's go through the roster, but let's try to go through it quickly tonight. So a part of training, a part of emergency net traffic training is brevity and being succinct. So let's practice that as we go through this and answer that question and whatever else you may have. Let's start right now with KG7BWD Clint in 2A. Go ahead, Clint.
Hello, Joe. Good to hear you. Yeah, I hope the best for you. I don't have anything to say. Sounds like a topic I just need to listen to. So I also say 7-3, have a good week. I'm all ears. KG7BWD.
All righty. Thank you, Clint, for joining us. I appreciate it. Vince, KJ7UTZ, how about you? Are you using or have been involved in any remote video sessions or webinars, whatever the case may be, over the last few months? And do you have a particular preference when using that kind of activity?
Yeah, well, I work from home. So for work we use
Microsoft Teams. Oh, Google.
And Blue Jeans. For church dad is the Elders Quorum secretary, so he helps run the Zoom webinars every week. So far, Zoom seems to be the better one to use. I really dislike Blue Jeans at work. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty conference calls every day using one of those, KJ7.
Well, thank you for that. I'm going to look that up. I have not heard of the Blue Jeans. I'm wondering if that's someone else's, if that's Cisco's or Microsoft Teams. Others have other things, but I wasn't familiar with that one. How about on the ham radio side, Vince? Do you have anything of interest there for us, or any questions or comments?
We talked a couple weeks ago, Joe. Pretty new. I've only got a few handhelds.
A few handhelds, that's all.
I don't have anything else as far as that goes. KJ7.
A few is pretty good. A few is many. Handhelds, I love that. Not one or two, a few. A few is good. That's a great start. Well, I appreciate you joining us, Vince. Let's move on to visitors. We've got a visitor from another part of the valley, Jeff, W0 NWA. Jeff also has a repeater, I think on Pinal Peak. Maybe I'm wrong, but Jeff, if you're still there, please fill us in a little bit about your activities. He's gone. First time checking into our net and he's gone. Oops. Oh well. One more time, W0 NWA Jeff. Are you still with us? Alrighty, we'll come back to him. Maybe he's being distracted there for some reason. Let's go to K7NTM in Creek. Nick, I know for your job and other things that you're involved in, you're probably very much involved in remote stuff as well. So what could you share with us?
That is correct, Joe. I spend probably 3/4 of my day doing kind of remote conferencing or video work of some nature. And by and large, I use Zoom and Teams. I think most everybody's familiar with those concepts. But one thing that I do that really helps me is I actually have a 55-inch TV that I cast all of that stuff to.
Ooh.
And the reason for doing that is because a lot of these Zoom calls have multiple heads talking at the same time. And that's a great way for me to kind of blow everybody up and see what's going on and see some presentations.
Good point.
Or things of that nature. So that's one trick that I use. In addition, I also don't use specifically those virtual backgrounds. They are so very distracting to me, and I don't want to do that to other people. So I actually have a real life background that I use behind me. So those are two of my tricks.
Do you guys hear the dog in the background? Very good. I love that idea about the 555-inch screen. That's really good. When you said, do you broadcast? Do you cast the screen from your smart device? There's no cables involved. I know I can cast pretty much, a lot of things in the house. Are you casting or are you actually physically connected?
It really depends on the method that we're using. For example, if it's a Facebook Live feed, I can cast that directly to my Amazon device, and that's what I do. If it's a direct feed for like the state, then I actually have a hard link because those aren't really castable. So it really kind of depends, but I pick the method that's easiest to work with at the time, to be honest. K7NTM.
Oh, very good. Okay, that makes sense. Well, it's depending on what you're doing then. Very good, very good. Appreciate that. So Microsoft Teams and Zoom. Alrighty, very good. I think that's probably going to be a couple of popular ones here, especially for work. Teams I think my wife uses Teams for work. We have a video conference call every third Monday or so at work for me, but it's one of the Citrix-based tools, commercial tools for Home Depot. not really anything that's used by most folks here. Alrighty, very good. We're going to move on to K2JNL. Jim, I think you're in the IT industry. You're probably supporting a lot of folks doing that kind of work.
Thanks, Joe, and hello everyone on the net. Yeah, not really supporting it, maybe as far as an identity and management standpoint, but not really supporting them. But so my company, General Motors, uses Teams, and I'm on roughly 3 to 4 Teams meetings a day. Sometimes I'm presenting, sometimes other people are presenting. So that seems
got your note, Fred.
For work. And then the various what do you call it, Zoom meetings that I have from some of the clubs that I belong to. I get on those. As far as which one I prefer, it's really tough to say. I like Zoom because it seems like most people use their camera when they're on there, so you can see the people and you can scroll through and see everyone what they're doing. Whereas Teams, nobody where I work actually uses their camera. They choose to keep it off. 1 or 2 people turn it on. So it's business, so it gets the point across. So, but yeah, that's it for me as far as that part. Took part in the contest this weekend, so I got up to number 20 for myself. So that was good. And I discovered a problem
radio.
When I transmit, my keyboard goes nuts and starts typing everything. So as I was trying to log all my my contacts, it would start adding erroneous characters and switching windows and opening the calculator and things like that. So that was not fun, but I got through it. So other than that, not much else. So I'll turn it back over to you. This is K2JNL.
I think he was getting a phone call. Very enlightening, Jim. Thank you. Glad you were able to work the contest. That's interesting about the keyboard. I also thought of another one that you guys, if you haven't heard of something called House Party, my friend N2SDB in New Jersey, who's on the chat side here and watching, Paul, he turned me on to something called House Party. House Party is extremely easy. You just drop it on your smart device, or if you use Chrome as your browser, it'll work with the Chrome browser. House Party will give you up to 9 people, sort of like remember Hollywood Squares fashion. Totally free. Great, works great. The audio quality, video quality is fine, and it's called House Party. Check it out. There's no dangerous malware or other things associated with it. It's really an interesting tool. Thank you very much, Jim. We're going to move on. We're going to see how Warren in Apache Junction is doing. W0WT.
Well, good evening, Joe, and everybody on net. Daniel here. Well, we use primarily Zoom, and we do have an amateur radio.
6 people max. Thank you. I'll fix that.
And there's a special interest group called Rotarians of Amateur Radio, or ROAR, which is kind of a cool acronym. And we get together once a week on Zoom, and it's an international group of hams who happen to be Rotarians. Kind of a fun way to get together, different way of doing it, and certainly works real well. So that's primarily Zoom. One-on-one, my favorite is WhatsApp because it's platform independent. You can be Android, you can be on MS-DOS, or you can be Apple, but if you're using WhatsApp, it doesn't matter. So with that, we'll go back to net briefly. Whiskey 0, Whiskey Tango.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And nothing like worldwide groups to join in. There's a group that meets every week in Massachusetts and on Zoom, of course. But that's where my headquarters company used to be, and they have hirees that join in every week. It is their virtual coffee break, and I haven't joined one of those yet. Most of those folks are a little bit older than me. But again, it's around the world, around the country. It works out really well. And I just got informed here that it's 8 maximum on House Party, 8 maximum for free. So, but again, for small groups, just something really quick with a couple of folks that you got to get done. House Party seems to do the job. Thank you, Warren, for your participation this evening. N6BG buy-in of well, you folks may know buy-in from his company, supplying APRS beaconing and tracking systems, fox hunting gear, and a lot of accessories for those types of products. Appreciate you joining us, Brian. Hopefully you're still there. We'll turn it over to you. Same question, and whatever new activities. I think you may want to mention about your fox hunt on demand as well. Please go ahead. He's gone.
Okay, good evening, Joe.
He's there. Good.
Brian, 6BG here in Chandler. I've been using Zoom probably most of the time.
Hey, Doug, Hollywood Squares. Paul Lynn.
It's kind of cool playing on Zoom with camera is something called OBS, Open Broadcaster Software.
Oh, yeah. Familiar with it.
Things with your video feed that's been pretty entertaining for me. The other things I've been using a lot of are Hangouts, Discord, and Slack. So all of those have been pretty useful in keeping up to date with friends and other groups. Yes, I have also put out a hidden transmitter. I'm going to reset. I put out a hidden transmitter that's on demand. It's on 14642, and it's hidden within 5 miles of the Sale Vista Park in Chandler. And if you key up with a DTMF1, it should come on the air and transmit for a minute. So it should allow people to hunt at their own schedule. Hopefully I'm going to have it out for another...
For all of you who don't know, Brian owns Bionics.
If you want more information on that, you can look for our AZT Hunt group on Google Groups. That's AZTHUNT. That's all I got. Back to net control.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I've been keeping close tabs on the AZT Hunt feedback from everybody. Everybody's getting a good kick out of Fox Hunt on demand. So whenever they have time, they can drive by and activate and do that for a few minutes or whatever, and then get back to what they were doing, and then report in, which is great. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, Hangouts. I've used Hangouts, Slack and Discord. Well, Slack's certainly kind of a little bit more business related. I know my son uses Slack in his business, and a lot of folks do. Discord, I signed up for it, but I don't use it. And I think Discord was in the news last week. Somebody's looking to buy Discord for lots of bucks. I forgot who it was. Would you recall, Brian? Are you aware of that?
I do remember hearing that. I also forget who it was, but yeah, I actually use both Discord and Slack for non-business. I just use it for nonprofit and friend organizations, so it doesn't need to be business.
Very good, very good. Thank you. And Google does have lots of products. They have Hangouts. They have Google Voice still for dialing and calling people all over the country for free that way. And they have Duo, which is kind of like their FaceTime. Not exactly, but close enough. That's a good way to describe it, I think, unless somebody has a better description. All right, Brian, thank you for joining us and appreciate that info. We're going to continue moving on. We got a few more to go, and hopefully we're not losing more folks. KI7PPW, John in Mesa, please go ahead.
Good evening, Joe and Lynette, and thank you very much for taking this. Great subject. I personally have had no experience with video conferencing at all. The only conferencing I have experience with is the regular phone conferencing. So I'm actually learning quite a bit here, and so I want to appreciate that. There's some interesting information being shared, and I'm going to take a look at some of these. So I want to thank you all very much. But with that, I will give it back to you, Joe. This is KI7PTW.
Thank you very much, John. I appreciate that. And I didn't make any announcement around, but I just want to remind folks, if you know a new ham or someone who's studying and wants to listen in on some nets, ask them to tune in if they can with scanner, radio, whatever the case may be, to Thursday nights at 7 p.m. for the Maricopa County New Ham Net. And John, remind us what frequency that is on.
certainly. It is, as you said, every Thursday at 7 p.m. The frequency is 440.375, positive offset, and a PL tone of 100 hertz. And that's exactly what we're there for, is for new hands. Come on out here and practice using that PTT button and get over some of that mic strike. We've got some great people out there with lots of experience.
You hear that, Mike? Mike Fright. Okay, John, thank you very much. And for everyone listening, I'm slow to identify here. This is N2QOJ, your net control station. This is the weekly training session of the Queen Creek Emergency Communications Group. We are a volunteer communications group for the Fire and Medical Department of the town of Queen Creek. If anyone has any interest in this group, you can venture over to QCECG.org and you'll find a nice landing page with some information about who we are and what we do. Thanks again, John, for your contribution. KF7RYX, Denison Mesa, Europe.
Greetings, Joe, and everyone on the net. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. I haven't been using much of that. You know, the only thing that I participate on a Zoom or something like that is during church services, and I get those online, and we've been doing that, but we'll be going back probably to in-person meetings here very shortly. And I do have a new group of just kind of a little bit of a switch. 65 people that are interested in getting a radio license over here in our community. So that is a good thing, but it's also going to require a lot of Elmers. So, you know, we've got some people that are over here, and they're going to have to be tasked with Elmering a little bit. And it's been interesting, the comments and questions I've been getting from these prospective hams, and you kind of lose track sometimes of how far you've advanced in this hobby whenever you have people that are coming up with questions, which to me now seem rather simple and pretty elementary, but I guess a few years ago would have been me scratching my head as well. So that's one of the things that we've been dealing with, and we should have a lot of new hams over here shortly. KF7RYX.
Lag, playing with the lag. Thank you, Dennis. You bring up an important point regarding Elmering. On the Queen Creek ARC.org site, there is a link if someone is looking for an Elmer to a list of Elmers, and there's not many on there, 3, 4, 5. But if anyone on this group, on this net, is interested in becoming an Elmer, please let me know. Send me an email, and we can add you to that list. And if you're interested, I'll let you know what we need from you, which is basically contact information. When's the best time that you would like to interact with someone that may have a question or whatever the case may be, and the areas that you feel confident in to tutor, mentor, Elmer, whatever the case may be. Please send that to me, because it's a lot of fun being able to help somebody, and we maintain that list. And I don't know how many people use it. I don't really get feedback, but I'd like to make sure that it's populated with some folks who would like to provide that service. So let me know. Alrighty, thanks again, Dennis. We're going to move on to KJ7DJR Lisa in Mesa. Go ahead, Lisa. A lot of noise. Lisa is in an apartment.
Go to webinar and go to media.
Somebody just stepped on her.
Google Hangouts, a little bit of Skype. You know, they're all pretty similar. Sometimes they've got a little extra features that one or the other doesn't have, but they all pretty much do the job. Also wanted to mention that I am getting ready to take my amateur extra test here in next Saturday.
Amateur extra is the correct term.
Then I will probably be adding myself to some DE organization or another, so I will be available to help out with testing as well. KJ7
Well, congratulations in advance. Amateur Extra is the top of our service, and I basically advanced to that level specifically to provide VE services in our local area after being a general in the hobby a very long time and a general for around 20 years, general class. So good for you. Let us know when that exactly happens. That'll be great. Um, yeah, and thank you for your feedback on the applications as well. I want to go back to what I think Brian mentioned, OBS. Um, I think it was Brian who mentioned it. Maybe it might have been Vince. I'm not sure. But OBS, you do any kind of video streaming or podcasting, video casting on a regular basis, or some off and on. Check out OBS. They have a free version of it, and you can basically create your own programming for video and audio podcasting with that tool. So check it out. You can also do your desktop as well, I believe, besides your cameras and other things. Alrighty, thank you, Lisa, for joining us. All right, we're going to move on to, we're still out west here. Chandler, Jose, KJ7QAQ. That's a mouthful. Go ahead.
Thank you, Joe.
Wow. Talk about quick tea.
Teams that everyone does. At home, on the phone with family, we use Duo and Zoom, and that seems to work out pretty well with the cell phone. That's all I got for feedback on that KJ7QAQ.
Well, thank you very much, Jose. Appreciate that input. You've improved your signal into the repeater. Remarkable. What did you do differently from your first check-in? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't know. Did you copy my last transmission, Jose? Your signal improved remarkably. Interested to know what you may have done in the interim to improve.
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch the last one. I basically moved out away from my house onto the street to a little location where I get a good reception, and I moved off the long antenna just to width. So, who knows? KJ7QAQ.
All right, very well. Made all the difference in the world. Thank you for signing out with your call sign. Appreciate that. This is N2QJ with the weekly training session of the Clean Creek Emergency Communications Group. All right, we're going down the list. We got a couple more to go, 4 more to go. KJ7TRD, John in Gilbert. How are you doing? What's new in the ham radio world for you? And any input on the remote meetings question?
Thank you, Joe. Hello to everyone on the net. And I am on Zoom multiple times a day, doing broadcasts and live streams and such for my businesses. As far as what's new in the my ham world, just happy to be here on the net. I've been absent for a couple of weeks, but I pretty much live on the internet and use every platform known to man. So it's just nice to get off of it and click a BTT button for a change.
Well, we're good. Good. I'm glad you were able to do that. And so it sounds. So you're working from home, basically. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, that's right. I run multiple businesses from home, and in fact, stats are way up and have been since COVID. We've even called it the COVID effect in some ways. But no, I work with clients internationally, so I'm on every day with Australia and England and all over North America and such. And yeah, I pretty much stick with Zoom, at least with clients, because of its user interface. And I've got some elderly people that tune in as well, and they can train up on Zoom rather quickly. And it's also not connected to these other services. I'm going to recap. The fact that it's not connected to any of these Google or Facebook or some of these other, big tech giants, although Zoom has become kind of a big tech, in itself. But the fact that I pay for it, or I am not the product, is one of the other things I like about Zoom. So KJ7TRD, back to the net.
Very good, John. Yeah, I forgot for everybody. John is an internationally known author and business coach, and probably a lot of other things too. But we appreciate you joining us, John, and wish you great success with that. I think you only got 3 or 4 books out there. Do I have that quantity correct?
Well, I've got. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about professional stuff. I mean, this is amateur radio, right? but people can find me on Amazon, and then of course, my website, and yeah, my main book that I'm known for is Integrity is Everything, which is over 10 years old, and people are screaming for my next major release, so I need to get on it. KJ7TRD. Thank you.
Oh, very good. Well, we're not selling anything here. We're just letting our folks be aware of that. Well, great. Thanks, John, for joining us. We're moving on to, let's see if Dave is still with us. KG7NCV, my relay station to the north.
Good evening, Joe on the net. I can make this very simple. After evaluating a whole bunch of these different mechanisms, I like Zoom the best. I did spring for the subscription to run it long duration, and I think it's feature rich and pretty easy for everyone to get on board. So that was my final settling point. KG7NCV.
Yeah, good point. The free version, I think, is caps at 40 minutes. Does it also cap in the number of people, participants?
No, negative. I believe it's unlimited with the version I have, but I don't know if I've got gigabit service, so my end would be good. I don't know if everybody else is up to the task or if the server is just handling it all, but haven't had any degradation the more people come on. I think the most I've had on several communication presentations that I've done, I've had up to about 60 people and seem to work just fine. Although the thumbnails are a little small. Back to you, KG7ND.
Very good. Well, that's when you got to use Nick's trick, 55-inch or better TV. Those thumbnails will be at least postage stamp size at that point, but still probably very useful. Okay, well, good. Thank you. I remember when you were investigating all the different services and you finally picked one out there. You definitely used them, so appreciate your input there. Okay, going to Mr. Audio, AG7 Whiskey Quebec, Wesley and Florence. Please tell us, what kind of microphone were you using?
Well, I switched actually. Tonight I'm on my gig single. I'm using an FT3D. I backed the power off, and the default microphone gain on the FT3D is 7, which works fine with the SSM57A. Let's Sierra Mike 57 Alpha, which is what I normally use. That's the wired earpiece / microphone combination from Yaesu. But tonight I'm using their SSM ET10 Bluetooth headset. So that's Sierra Mike Bravo Tango 10. And to be honest, you guys are the result of my experiment. I didn't realize I was overpowering with this headset, so it's kind of new to me. I know now to crank the gain down a little bit. In fact, let me stop long enough to ask, how's the audio signal now?
Oh, it is loud and a little, what's the word for it? Not an echo, but it sounds like you're in a large room. Cacophony, is that the word for it? It sounds like not a cavernous, but it's not an echo, it's not a reverb. It just sounds like you're in a large room with a little bounce back, but still very, very audible. That's just my opinion. How about, let's see, Let's see, John, KI7PPW, who does net control quite often. Maybe you can give Wesley a better description. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Joe. Actually, I probably couldn't give him a better description. I think he described it very well. It is very powerful audio, and yeah, I was hearing what sounded almost like an echo in the background there too on the last transmission. But other than that, you described it very, very well. KI7PPW.
And if thank you, John. And if you, Wesley, if you go back and look at the this YouTube video, which will be posted, if you go into the 55, 56, 57-minute mark, you'll be able to hear your transmission well. And obviously, much earlier, you'll hear the very powerful one. So you can always do that. The nice thing about it is you can fast forward right until you find it. So it'll just take a little while to find it. Very good, Wesley. I appreciate that. So I stuck you with that microphone question. Do you have anything else for us this evening?
Well, for this next topic, I also use Zoom for business meetings and also for a couple medical appointments and a couple of clients with whom I communicate. My church uses Blue Jeans, and they seem to be pretty happy with that. So I use that occasion. And to be honest, most of the time I use those on my notebook computer because I don't have a camera attached to my computer here at my desk. This is actually my development computer, so I try to keep it relatively clean. In fact, it only has a microphone hooked up to it when I'm doing audio work. So other than that, my experience, I think, is consistent with that of many of the other people here. Zoom seems to be the standard pretty much for just about everyone, at least even the people that are using other products that use Zoom as well. So I guess as a community, we've kind of settled on Zoom. And with that, I'll say back to net control, AG7WQ.
Thank you, Wesley. Well, I'm definitely going to check out Blue Jeans. This is the second or third time that's come up. I also wanted to mention your Bluetooth headset. It's very good frequency response. It is not tinny. It is not bassy. It's not trebly. It's definitely got a reasonably good frequency response. It sounds really good. Sounds like to me someone using a very high quality podcast microphone. You know, good quality USB or XLR. So you're getting your money's worth on that one. Very good indeed. Alrighty, N7MJF, Mike. Hopefully you're still with us. Please go ahead. Oh, Mike, are you still there?
Good evening, Joe. I'm still here. Don't really have anything to add though. I work from home and I use Zoom a lot. So in the spirit of brevity, that's about all I got. I will be looking up the OBS, so that sounds really interesting. Not all I got. Back to net control and 7 MJF.
Yeah, I flirted with OBS a little bit, and it needs a reasonably good platform. It's not going to work well with any PC or laptop that's slightly anemic. It wants some good resources, which I'm sure everybody can imagine that's the case when you're doing video and podcasting and so forth. Well, very good. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it. That station that didn't have that was probably AJ, just Fred, AJ7JF, I think is the call. Fred, are you still with us?
Comment?
Oh, we got a comment. Go ahead.
AG7MCB. It was Ted, and like I said, I got the call sign, but I heard him very well, very loud on the reverse.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah, Fred mentioned on the chat here that it was probably him with no audio, so we might have two. All right, that station, Ted, which had the audio problem, have you rectified it? Are you with us? Well, he may be done for the evening. But thank you for that information. And Fred, are you with us?
Well, I don't know. Am I? AB7JF.
You are there. You've got no problem with audio. What would you like to add this evening?
Well, I just, like you said, want to thank the Queen Creek Emergency Group. Thanks to my connections through the group, I was able to get my COVID-19 shot and got it over with. So I want to thank the group for that. AB7F.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, yeah. They gave us the opportunity to have any badge member who wanted in there. We have one more going in tomorrow. This has been well. This is still the week training session of the Queen Creek Emergency Communications Group. If anyone has a question or comment, would like to cover something that we did this evening, just throw out your call sign and we'll address it. Go ahead.
7NTM.
K7NTM, Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that the FT3D manual does state that every different microphone you attach to that radio needs to have its gain readjusted. Kind of, it is exactly the issue that the caller was having. I'm just wondering if that's something that's consistent across radios, or how common is that, or is it an FT3D thing, or maybe a Yaesu thing? K7NTM.
Well, I'll give you my 2 cents because I read a lot of boards, and then we'll open it up to FT3D users like Dennis and some others. There's 2 radios that I know that really appreciate low and gain adjustments. The FT3D across the FT3D Facebook group and some others, they cite the same type of issues that Wesley just mentioned before, especially when using all manner of different kinds of headsets and Bluetooth. The other radio that I know of is the FT991 and 991A. They really like to be adjusted in terms of audio settings quite a bit. So let's go to Dennis first, and then whoever else may have some input for Nick. Go ahead, Dennis.
No, I would just agree that I have the F2 handheld Yaesu radio, and I have the 991A, and yes, you do need to adjust that, and I have been fortunate enough to have someone endure, the adjusting process of getting it tweaked and getting it sounded good, and I believe that one of those that endured that was Dave, KG7NCB, who accommodated me on that one. But yeah, once you get them dialed in, they are both great sounding radios. KF7RYX. Oh, one other thing. Lisa said she was testing on Saturday. If she'd like to join our group on Wednesday evening at 6:30, we'll have a test session at the Ramada where we have lunch. KF7RYX.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that. I put it out to the groups and to the Facebook groups. If anybody's interested in upgrading, or they may have a friend or family member who wants to take the technician test, March 31st at 6:30 p.m. will be a session, a Laurel VE session, no charge. But if registration is required. So send me a note. I'm at qrz.com. If you don't, you should all have my email probably by now anyway. Send me a note and I'll hook you up with the right people if you have that interest or someone you know may have that interest. Anyone else, any input on the FT3D in terms of audio and gain settings? Please go ahead.
Kilo Golf 7, November Charlie Victor.
Alrighty, that would be David Mesa. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I had purchased several microphones and a Bluetooth headset and things, and every one that I put on or attached had to have the gain adjusted. I utilized a different radio to kind of monitor with another earpiece, and found out it was all over the place. One was set to 6, the other one was set to 2, another one to 4. So it is pretty much, ask for an audio check to make sure that you're in the right range
They're good. Yeah, all it was missing was the ping of the push to talk bar on the D104. If some of you know what I'm talking about. All right, very good. Thank you. I appreciate that. One last call. Anyone else have input regarding microphone gain adjustments for that product or anything else?
This is AI7 FX. Ted, again, I'm on a different radio. Am I coming in now?
Yeah, KI7, I think it said FX, but someone is doubling with second Ted. Ted, let's confirm your call sign again.
A Alpha India 7 Foxtrot X-ray.
We got you there, Ted. Okay, there was a double with you. Someone probably trying to answer my question. Let's finish the question, and then we'll come back to you, Ted. Thanks for joining us again. That other station that had some input, go ahead.
Thanks, Joe. This is Kilo 1, Mike, Alpha, Sierra, Mitch.
Okay, Mitch, thank you for joining us. Appreciate that. Did you have input on the microphone question?
I do. I also have a 901A, and on the front left bottom of the panel, those of you who have that particular model, there's a button, C.S, a custom switch, on that front panel, and I programmed that particular button for microphone gain, and that has saved me as far as my transmission or reception, like turning that up or down as needed on a moment's notice. Just thought I'd throw that up. K1 MAS.
Thank you, Mitch. That's great on the fly and do that. Good. So a lot of 991 and 991A owners out there. So please take note of Mitch's hint. Very good. Thank you for joining us, Mitch. AI7FX, Ted, what was up with your audio? What fixed the issue there?
A little bit more, but I'm a newbie here, and so I'm probably doing something wrong with the 991A.
Okay, we got most of that transmission, but not all of it because there was a station that doubled a bit. But we copied new. But what exactly were you saying about the 991A? Were you looking for more information from Mitch?
This is 10 AI7FX. I just was indicating that I have a new 991A, and I'm just used to running it, and I think I'm just probably got some finger trouble with it.
Ah, okay, very good. Yeah, that radio is a beautiful. That radio is a beautiful shack in the box, and it's a great radio. Lots to learn on it, but the good thing is it's reasonably good manual and great YouTube videos there. If you have a specific question, now's the time to ask about 991A because we've got probably 5 or 6 people on this net right now who own it. So do you have anything that you'd like to ask specifically, Ted?
Not specifically, other than if it's just a button push that I need to do. I thought I heard earlier someone programmed that seat. I don't know if I've got a program wrong. I've had it, the frequencies, everything put in that I thought I needed here, but I just need to study it out a little bit more. Not someone's got a quick answer for me.
Okay, I think you're asking about programming that button. Let's give Mitch the opportunity to expand on that a little bit. Mitch, if you could tell us a little bit, and Ted, on how we can go about programming that button.
reference that, if you haven't already, I would, if you have a computer.
I'm not going to pay attention too much because I don't have a 991A. I use it on occasion, but I don't have one.
Website, download the PDF for the 991A.
And this kind of stuff on the net, tutoring or mentoring on the net, is typically long, and it was a great thing. We're going to lose people anyway. It's late. We're going to end this thing right after this transmission. So we got QRZ.com up. We've got dashboard for the Echolink node, see who's on, who may be connected. We have the script for the net, which after most check-in visitors, it's basically up to me. And then my little phonetics reminder, because I forget phonetics.
And select the PS item name. In my case, it's the mic name. So to program it to that CS button, you just press that button to lock your selection on that multi-knob. You can select any one particular menu item for a quick recall. Mine is microphone jam, mic jam. Then you press the menu button again, or touch the back LCD, you'll see it on LCD channel if you're in that menu, and you're done. I hope that was clear.
Okay. It's going to have to be clear.
Yeah, I got.
Ooh, this is a directed net. You don't go back and forth to each other.
Wait, so I can just read through the manual on that and get it. I'm familiar enough now with the menu that I know that like maybe it's just my game that needs to be set properly. I just finger in.
Okay, guys, let me step in here because this is a directed net. We don't go back and forth to each other directly. Ted, I hope you got the information you needed, and hopefully you can tell us next week how that went. Mitch, thank you for the tip on the programmable button. We are about 11 minutes past the hour, so we're going to bring this to a close. Thank you all for your participation. A lot of great stuff tonight about remote meetings and so forth, and what's popular out there and what people have found to be very useful. Thank you all again for participating. This net is a function of the Queen Creek Emergency Communications Group. We meet on the second Thursday of the month when we do have meetings at 7 p.m. at Historic Town Hall in downtown Queen Creek. When we have that meeting or any events in town, talking is always on the Queen Creek repeater, which is at 449.475 megahertz. And of course, that's a negative shift with a PL of 136 hertz. I thank everybody's participation tonight. This session of the Queen Creek Emergency Communications Group Training Net is now concluded. We thank WB7TUJ Doug and N7DJZ Dave for the use of this great repeater for our nets and for use by the local ham community. I'd like to thank KF7SLQ Janet for taking on alternate control duties. And again, everyone who participated and contributed in helping our fellow hams here. Please join us again next Sunday evening at 8 p.m. This frequency and repeaters return to normal operation. This is N2QOJ saying have a great, safe week, 7-3. Okay, that would have gone on forever, and we can't have that on the net. So, all right, thank you, Dave. Dave won on that double. Appreciated your participation, Dave. We'll catch up with you this week. The station that doubled with Dave, please go ahead.
That was AC7WQ. I just wanted to say that the live video chat is in touch, and I hope that's something that you will planning on occasionally including in the mix as we go forward with these sessions. So thanks for that very much, and thanks for the running the net. And with that, I'll say 7-3, AC7WQ.
Oh, thank you, Wesley. Hopefully, I'd like to do that. I'd like to make it have some value for us rather than just staring at me. And But it does give some folks the opportunity to participate that may not have otherwise. But everybody on here so far, almost everybody was on the net through RF. But I'd like to thank you for demonstrating what what excellent audio on a FM repeater can sound like. It's I tell you, it's got to be one of the best robust sounding audios that I've heard since I've been out here in the last 15 years. I'll have to take a snippet of it on the recorded audio and send it to you so you can hear what the difference, relative to one else. But thanks again. Enjoy your week, N2QOJ. Okay, so I don't know. Hi, Janet. Go ahead.
Communication specialist today, and the last two that were called at the source were called as social media specialists, and neither any of them that I got their names are ham certified, so I have no clue which way my stake is going.
Well, the fact that they were called, I mean, they're going to be sustained and they might be given some direction, right? That's interesting, though. Did you speak to Dennis recently? I don't know if he's still listening, but Dennis told me that folks were called at the ward level, specifically in his ward, with very specific callings along these lines. But it's interesting. Social media, huh? That's different. Okay, we're gonna turn this off.
That's what I thought too. So I thought I'd.
Thanks, everybody.
Sorry.
Thank you for
Yeah, I thought
participating in this experiment. Ciao, ciao.